Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the Chronicles of Apple from the apple of my eye, and just taking a break from work. But I do wanted to discuss this issue with this whole immigration crackdown, and I am personally in favor of it, largely because of the fact that crime has increased, and there is a bad form of entitlement where people have as an immigrant, I know what it takes to actually go through the, legally, legal. So the issue there is that whenever people come in, and my dad actually, before I was born, wanted to come to the US and was trying to get a visa. But he was not allowed to enter because he was a young male, and they just, if he comes in as a visitor, most likely he's going to stay. So my father was brokenhearted because of this, but he met my mother, and that's how he had children. So there was a purpose of things not happening, and I believe this is all in God's timing. And the crackdown that's happening in New York, it's largely because of the crime. The crime rate has increased because obviously, no matter what credentials you have in your country, if you were to come here illegally, there is not a much chance to get a job other than, very low level. And even my parents, having had, my mom has a doctoral degree and my dad has an engineering, well, close to an engineering. It's not really an engineer. It's so he has to take the job at the hotel cleaning rooms. So with that sort of situation, I believe that, people do sacrifice legally come here, and for people, and it took time before things get better financially. And my parents did it for me and my sister. But when people come in illegally, a lot of illegal things do happen. Now, you're lucky if you come here and your family is going to take you in and they give you some kind of job. But frankly speaking, half the time, what is bound to happen is that a person without a legal paper will be abused, meaning they will go for prostitution or some kind of a drug dealing, because that's the money maker. And the goal is to be successful or somewhat successful. If they are coming from another country, they wanted to make financial gains out of that. And so from one illegal activity to the next is not uncommon. So uh, even the legal, because the legal ways are not the biggest money maker, the illegal ways uh, is going to be more lucrative. And the people that know the person can easily recruit them. So this is part of human trafficking and child trafficking. So children, if the mother is pregnant and tries to have an anchor baby, sometimes that anchor baby ends up in prostitution as well, or for pornographic purposes. And so we just have to pray for peace. It is disheartening for people that had, that are children and stuff, and they are misled. There are times churches, and with the way the democratic government has allowed it and promoted it and even advertised it to Mexico or different parts of the world to infiltrate the US, and it's for the purpose of destabilization. So destabilization is when you have a country and you bring in all forms of constituents, whether Islamic or not. It is to create a division within the nation, and to kind of compromise the constitution for the large part. So we just have to keep praying. It's nothing that highly affects me. It does affect certain work, but and the distribution, I mean, the people that are they are paid low pay for the agricultural, and they're there to help, harvest, whether it's watermelon or like important things, food. But these kinds of things do get abused, in terms of labor, and it's part of the labor trafficking. So I believe that a year ago, when the Lord put in my heart the stuff about human trafficking, there is a verse in the Bible that says, I came to seek and save the lost. And that has been Luke 19:10, that has been vibrating a lot in my heart for the last couple years. And this is why I did the YouTube video again. And I've been so heavily censored because, whether it's China or whatever it is, but YouTube has censored me so severely during the COVID that I couldn't even put any kind of email. I get kicked out constantly. And, but yeah, I'm just praying for peace, and for people to be directed correctly. And we have to pray for what is right, because ultimately it's God's laws. It's not our opinion that's going to matter so much. And when we are not following the word of God, we are likely to just fall into all forms of traps. So I wanted to just, I wanted to pray, and we have to really, we have to really bring into righteousness. We got to bring children into righteousness, because the Hollywood, the schemes of the Freemasons, what they want to do is destabilize every country, create chaos, and then solve the problem, which means everybody gets vaccinated. It is the quickest way that they can try to control the population. And it's not just, it's for depopulation, and it's all the abortions. And when we lean on these things, we lose protection from the Lord. So do we want to have, do we want to keep condoning these things? Just like in Hollywood, they are condoning all the pornography stemming from Hollywood, the MTVs, and the pornographic stuff from human trafficking. These are all being prayed over. It's for the demonic purposes and worldwide distribution, a type of whoredom. And so even the Vatican is involved. And I believe that the Lord is going to bring down the leadership within the Catholic faith in these last days, because they are full of deception. And you just cannot deny the level of disdain and lack of respect for the Bible that the Pope has. And I am going to keep um, praying and encouraging people to pray for the righteous men to stay awake and to fight the the deception that is taking place, because it is totally not of God, the way this human trafficking is happening. And then on top of that, the deception of Hollywood covering up for the Vatican, and the Vatican paying Hollywood, and Hollywood using all their fornication with demonic incantations being spread all over the world. And I was looking at, why are these, how could these celebrities allow their homes to, they allowed their homes to be to burn. Well, first of all, if the Hollywood people fails on the job, okay, they're supposed to convince America to keep voting for Democrat while they're cheating, right? And that didn't work. The righteousness took place. What then happens is that the satanic realm hates them and is now taking back the homes that was given to them. And anyway, if you are of any conscience at all, most of those mansions had demonic activities and rituals, and therefore it is better for it to have burnt. And also, if they had evidences, they wanted to cover that up. So that's also the enemy trying to cover it up. But he's also, the demonic realm is obviously not clearly on the side of these Hollywood people, because they could not protect them. So you could see the power of God raining down upon the United States. And we have to stay on course. And I'm very thankful that we're out of the World Health Organization, because the vaccinations are really horrible for people. So I just really wanted to I just really wanted to pray for just divine interventions. And Israel right now, having to deal with so many released terrorists. I mean, this is really something that Christians need to pray, because there is a Gog and Magog war brewing, and the U.S. is going to be involved. And interestingly, the U.S. has everybody around the world pretty much. It's like a big melting pot. So Israel is never going to go down. Even though they say they tried to allow them to claim, oh, they lost. Israel didn't lose, because this is a ceasefire. And this is like a time where both parties are taking a break from the fight, but the fight continues on. Even if they do raise a peace accord, it will still be a fight in less than 3.5 years, because the Antichrist is going to come eventually and will sit down in Israel, and we're not going to be able to stop that. But Israel still needs the protection, because they're already getting warned that they just have to stay away. Once the Antichrist shows up, people are going to have to run away from Jerusalem. And they are still just building. In terms of timeline, I think we're just in the wars and rumors of wars, and this is the timeline. And we're gonna hit tribulation, and some people think they're gonna be raptured, but it looks like we're gonna be here with tribulation based on the biblical text, because it even says in Romans that um we will go through the tribulation, but we will be spared from the wrath. So tribulation is separate from the wrath, because the wrath of God is the total destruction all over the world, and the restoration of Israel. But when it comes down to tribulation, that is the sin of man, like the corruption. That's the whatever things that are coming down the pipeline, wars and rumors of wars, and getting into the actual war, is because of the sin of man in collaboration with the enemy. So anyway, I'm gonna end it right here. And there's a lot of walkouts, and there's a lot of people not wanting to come to work because of ICE, supposedly. And we just have to keep praying for peace. So thank you, and God bless.